Hey, everybody, and welcome back to MLR Weekly as presented by Rugby Wrap-Up. Matt McCarthy in New York City. Happy New Year. This is our first show of 2025, and it's a great one. We have Ryan Martin, the head coach of the New England Free Jacks. We have John Fitzpatrick with Rugby Morning's Coffee Break, and we have Bryan Ray of America's Rugby News. Rugby Wrap-Up's MLR Weekly brought to you by Sheehy Auto Stores. It's easy at Sheehy. The Pig and Whistle, New York City, the world's best rugby pub. And Lean and Limber, stretching your way to a healthier lifestyle. Let's get it all started with Rugby Morning's Coffee Break with John Fitzpatrick calling in from not Washington, D.C. John, that looks like Fiji.
Wow, Matt, you're pretty good with your world geography. How did you know that was Fiji?
I've been around the block and back, kid. Don't you worry about that. I'm asking the questions. And the first question is, 2025, how are you? How's your new year going?
Matt, my new year, isn't it a little too late for that? Isn't there like a statute of limitations on saying
There's got to be a
people?
shot clock, but when we were off camera, you did say it wasn't too late. So now you're throwing me under the bus?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Fitzpatrick.
Matt, I got to say, did you do something different with your appearance this year? Something looks different.
I did. I've been doing thin.
No, I see. You trimmed your eyebrows. Good for you. Good for you.
Well, I have one that's permanently inquisitive because there's 48 stitches in it. And that's the right eyebrow. Is it the right eyebrow? I can't even tell you right now. I could tell you, but I don't want to.
It's your unibrow. But that's gone now.
Yeah. No, I don't. Anyway, let's get to the show. What do you got for us, John?
You're probably wondering why I'm in Fiji right now.
Hey, why the heck are you in Fiji right now?
I'm in here getting nice and warm because, Matt, I'm gearing up for the RFC LA preseason match against the Fijian Drua. That's right. Major League Rugby versus Super Rugby America taking place in Fiji. America, Matt, what do you make of all this? Pretty neat, huh?
I love it. I love every aspect of it. I like the fact that, they're spending a little bit of money. Plus, they're also promoting the league overseas. That's a great thing. Great thing. Kudos to LA. LA, you're my lady. And unfortunately, what's going on in LA right now, our thoughts are with everybody, and this will be some good news for some folks.
Good news indeed. I wonder if 2024 MLR Back of the Year Reese McDonald, who rights were acquired by RFCLA from New England, will make the trip to Fiji. Matt, RFCLA, they've made some pretty good, significant moves. I'm sure you and Bryan will cover in a bit more detail.
They have. They've been busy beavers in the offseason. Are they the LA Beavers? Is that an unveil of the new name for the team?
No. Hey, let's move on, though. But my question, though, and I'm going to steer this back to me, and I'm taking control of this, is that do you envision other leagues, say maybe like Super Rugby Americas or maybe like Japan Rugby League One, wanting to do some type of, cross-promotional match with an MLR club?
Well, I think it would be great. I think the logical answer would be, first off, Super Rugby Americas, because it's not that far, and they are a similar setup with maybe similar talent, and maybe we get that thing going. I think there's a little bit of hubris on parts of the different people that might want to get this thing pulled off, but I think it eventually will happen. But also, Japan Rugby League One chairman Tamasuka was on this very program, and he welcomed the idea of MLR playing a competitive match against, say, the champions from his league and the champions of MLR. So that's even more intriguing. How about that?
Well, I'm just saying for Super Rugby Americas, it sounds like there's one more slot available now that there's not that team in Colorado anymore. Matt, moving on, right?
Unfortunate, yeah, the American Raptors, but hopefully they'll be back. Next.
Yeah, sure. Hey, we mentioned RFCLA, so MLR training camps are underway. We've got some preseason games coming up. Chicago Hounds, they've got two in early February. There's a couple other clubs that have announced some preseason games. But, Matt, what's your take on all of this? Injury concerns, should MLR clubs have preseason games? What do you make of it?
I think they should have preseason games, and I think referees should referee those preseason games so everybody gets a run. Everybody gets one under their belt or two under their belt because there's nothing like playing in anger. It's like the first thing, spring training for baseball. Yeah, it's spring training, but they play games in spring training. You don't go to spring training and not have any baseball games, right? You have preseason football, you have preseason basketball, you have preseason hockey. You should have preseason rugby. I know that it's an added expense, but do you want guys going into those scenarios without having had any game experience? Next.
Moving on. Yeah, Matt, final bit here. I mean, come on. I can't believe we haven't talked about this yet.
Hello, Namar.
I mean, man, you're so good. That's right. She scored her first PWR try of the season in her first start for
Premier
the Bristol
Women's
Bears.
Rugby is PWR for the folks that don't know. Go ahead.
Okay, you're going to continue to fact check me here, man, or can I just talk, please?
I'll fact check you another 3 times. Next.
Well, I just wanted to bring that up and question it back to you, Matt. I mean, come on, Alona Marsh. She's definitely making USA Women's Eagles Rugby World Cup squad, right?
No. What? Why? They don't need an excellent player that can play 15s and 7s, run over opposition in the open field like Jonah Lamu, nor do they need any of that added exposure on the internet and social media. No, I'd leave her at San Diego. Just kidding.
Well done, Matt. Well done, Matt. You're off in rare form in 2025.
Yeah, well, it's Thrive in 25 here on MLR Weekly, and under the Rugby Wrap-Up umbrella, we look forward to more of this. And thank you, John, for coming on. John Fitzpatrick calling in from Fiji's capital, D.C., Washington, someplace. Anyway, thank you, John. We'll be right back after this.
Digs like a demented mole there.
Need a great price on a new vehicle? Sheehy makes it easy. Easy Price shows you our lowest prices on the Mid-Atlantic's largest selection. Find your best price online or at any of our 31 dealerships.
It's easy at Sheehy. Sheehy.com.
If you're in New York City and want to watch some great rugby, have some great food, and some great times, go to the world's best rugby pub, the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street.
How you doing? I'm Jim Hamilton. I'm at the Pig and Whistle. I'm at the famous Pig and Whistle. Look, I've come, I've got my rucksack on. I'm a well-known man around the world as one of the best rugby players to have ever played the game. No, I'm not. It's a lie. But we've got Paul O'Connell's montage on the wall. I've heard a lot about this place, and I'm here. Make sure, though, that you come here, but you also tune in to Rugby Wrap-Up.
And we're back, and we're with New England Free Jacks head coach Ryan Martin. Ryan, Happy New Year, and welcome to MLR Weekly.
Thank you very much. It's great to be on your show. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, sir. And, for the folks at home, I just want to briefly go over your resume, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it was the Melbourne Rebels down in Super Rugby. You were the skills and kick strategy coach.
Yeah.
Meter 10, Otago's attack coach.
Yep.
Global Rapid Rugby, one of my favorite setups. The Asia Pacific Dragons head coach, New Zealand Barbarian School head coach, Otago Boys High School First 15s head coach. Oh wait, this has got to be a misprint here because it says you coached previously with the New England Free Jacks. That can't be true, or is that true?
Yeah.
And here we are. I know you. Yeah. I'm kidding, of course.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
No, it's great to be back. It's felt like a little bit of homecoming flying back into Logan Airport when I came in, so it's a good feeling.
All right, but Ryan, really, I mean, January, New England,
yeah,
you're down in New Zealand, you've worked in Australia. What is fundamentally wrong with you that you would come back to this?
Well, actually, I was talking to someone today. Where I grew up was in Central Otago. And we would have hoarfrost where in the winter where it would just frost the whole day and you'd never see the sunlight. It'd be grey clouds over top. We're like in a basin. So all my rugby experiences as a young fella when I was playing, we're playing on like iced fields. So this actually does truly feel at home.
It's downright balmy for you.
Yeah, it's nice.
You look tan. Are you tan?
I've been a professional surfer for 3 months after I left Japan. I got in the water and for 3 months and then got into here.
Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. All right, so you're back. How much pressure you're coming back to is in a position where your team has won 2 in a row, which means you have a good team, right?
Yeah.
But then also with that good team comes expectations.
Yeah.
So how do you manage those expectations with the screaming Boston fans?
Yeah, well, it is it could be seen as a poison chalice, couldn't it? Because there's only one way to go when you've been back-to-back champions. But I think it suits my personality, like the idea of doing something that's never been done before, which would be a three-peat. That's really tantalising. We've got 70. I think it was talking with TK. We got 75% of the squad back. And we feel real confident around our new recruits that are coming into the program as well. So we feel as though we put a really competitive squad together. TK's been here for a long time, since day dot, and he reckons it's one of the better rosters we've put together. So you kind of get that. We've got a great coaching group. Some new coaches have come in. I just feel like we're kind of riding the crest of the wave that Scott Matthew and the crew have set up. So rather than thinking of the daunting task, I see it as, where we can just add our little bits of personality to keep the wave going. And yeah, it's pretty exciting.
And how many of the players would you guesstimate are still around from your first tenure?
That's a good question. There's five from when I first was here, 2020, 2021. And we actually had a special visit today at training from Dougie Fife, who was one of my signings in 2021 and was our back of the year. So it was nice to have him back here. He's back here in Boston from his NOLA experience. He's retiring, and he came in to say hi to the team and catch up with everyone. So that was nice.
Are you sucking him out of retirement?
I did ask him about but he's just had ankle surgery, so he reckons he enjoys the training week, but not getting up for the games anymore. So yeah.
Okay. Well, so it's not a no.
No, it's not a no, but I've got a good relationship with Dougie, so could twist his arm.
All right. Speaking of backs, what Reese McDonald, L.A. What happened? Phil from Jack's Rangers is distraught. He thinks he might even have to break up with you guys. Tears are just streaming down his cheeks, Coach.
Yeah, it's worked out well for Reese. Obviously, he was under a huge injury cloud after the NPC, playing for Manawatu. Had massive shoulder surgery, and for us, he would have come really late into the program, and it was a position of need for us, especially we're a little bit lighter in the outside back. So we went for Simon Toliafala, who's hit the ground running, and good on Reese and to pick up and go into LA. He'll take part later in the season, 3/4 of the way through. So it's really good for LA and really good for Reese, and I think it's worked out best for all parties. So yeah.
Yeah, LA's stacked in that back line, but you guys are stacked in your back row.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had to pick, I'm like, okay, if I had to pick a great back line or I had to pick a great back row, I might go with the back row.
Yeah. We've got a kind of a character type that we've selected in our back row on purpose, and
brute.
Just really, really violent, very, very brutal. They all got very big engines, and it's actually pretty exciting what you can do when you have a back row. Like the way you can play it becomes quite different, especially defensively as well. So you were pretty excited about that crew.
I don't know. Are we going to implement the tweaks to the laws that's being tweaked overseas with the line out and the scrum half defending? Are we going with that? Is that a World Rugby thing, or is that set up?
Yep, we've had some little tweaks. So the main one's been around the kicking. So you can't have the kind of the escorting anymore. So you got to leave those channels free for the defense to attack the kicker. So that's a biggie that's coming in this year. I like that one because it's pretty clear, isn't it? Like, is there a pathway for the defense to get to the catcher? It's yes or no. It's that's taking that grey out of guys changing angle to maybe check people. So I think it's a good one.
But then you don't get to watch the flight of the ball. I mean, you got to. So if I'm refereeing, I'm usually I'm running around watching the flight of the ball.
That's like all rules in rugby, isn't it? It sounds black and white, but then there's lots of greys that good coaches manipulate. So yeah, we'll see.
You just opened yourself up to get crushed on Reddit by saying rules. Yeah. Right? It's laws. I know I don't have to tell you.
Laws, yeah.
You're going to get buried.
Yeah.
Typing away right now. They're typing away on Reddit. This is a question from Bryan Ray of America's Rugby News, who has adopted your team as his team because his Arrows went down like a week before New York went down. He says, are you more Team Canada or more Team NPC?
Oh, that's I think we're more Team Canada. I've actually really enjoyed...
It's a good answer because you're close to the border.
Yeah, I've actually really enjoyed our Canadian boys. They're super alert. They've got lots of questions. super attentive. They've been great to deal with.
That's good stuff. And I also have John Fitzpatrick of Rugby Morning, who are both on this show and are flanking you or sandwiching you in this particular episode. Fitzpatrick wants to know what's the big difference in the MLR since your first go. And I know you haven't seen any of the teams play, but you can speak to the setup there.
Yeah, I think if you look at the recruitment now, you're getting like really aspirational international players coming in and working alongside the domestic crew. So I can kind of see the trajectory is very similar to the top league. So I was coaching with Toyota for 2 years in the Japanese top league there, and it's like the recruitment becomes very different. If you're getting like a really high level kind of NPC, aspirational Super Rugby player coming in, and a younger crews coming in, and it lifts the domestic players as well. And that's what you're seeing in Japanese rugby. Like the internationals that are going in there have to be really good with the domestic players, and you can see the flow-on effect to the Japanese international team through that competition. And that's what I've noticed here. Like it's definitely not a retirement ground, the MLR anymore. It's, you know, you're getting some really up and coming players wanting to apply their trade here and put their best foot forward.
Would you like? Oh, that, I guess. Are you making an inference to Japan Rugby League One? Is that the retirement ground for players?
Okay, yeah. Well, is
it D2 in France?
D2 in France.
Yeah, that's the better. That's you're going to play on grass at least for the most part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. France, Tokyo.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking international stuff, what did you think about the news with LA going down to play, or going across? How do we say? Is it down or across to play the Drua in Fiji out of Super Rugby?
Yeah, well, I know the Drua team well because when I was coaching with the Melbourne Rebels, we played them 3 or 4 times, and they are not a pleasant team to play. That's what I'll say about that. They are very
particularly
aggressive.
at home.
At home, like I think they've lost 1 Super game over 3 years at home.
Yeah.
It's incredible. That's a graveyard for any visiting team. And I've actually played them in preseason, prepared a team, the Rebels. We played them, and it wasn't a fun game for us. I think we came away with more injuries than anything else. Because they're hardened, that team, and at home, yeah, I think that's a very tough trip, and it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Actually,
so would you envision your guys making a trip like that? I mean, when you're in your initial season before you came into the league, you had an exhibition season against what we called the Cara Cup. And I actually was working on those games with John Broker and Steve Lewis, and you played the Irish provinces. Is there maybe some synergy around that?
Yeah, I think there's a leeway, whether it's having some type of connection with the Japanese top league, like one of the teams there, and even I'd be very intrigued to watch a crossover match between the MLR and an NPC team. Obviously, the MLR would be at the end of the season, the NPC would be at the start, but you could have...
We'll meet in France, though, and play the game in France.
Yeah, you got to meet somewhere where there's good wine, but I'd be intrigued. I think that there's definitely leeway for how that would work. I'm not sure, but yeah, something like that.
All right. Okay. Now, you're in a unique situation where 4 of your big executives in the executive suites with the suits, as we call them, all played rugby. Eric Anderson, Magleby, Barry, and Bobette, all rugby guys. How much of a pain in the ass is that for you as a coach?
Oh no, I think it's a good thing when your ownership group truly know.
My kingdom, if you said my kingdom, if you said an enormous pain in the ass.
No, I think it's good because I really value their opinion, and that they definitely leave the head coach and they understand, that proximity away from the team, and it's always, I always enjoy Mag's call after a game. He'll ring me about 3 minutes after the game's finished to make some comments, which is always good, and you take them on board. And we're lucky we got to have an ownership group that's got a true affinity with rugby and understand it. I think that's why the organisation is where it is at the moment.
And I'll tell you what, looking from the outside, I'm always jealous because it's a great environment there, and it kills me. It pains me to say it as a New Yorker, to say that Boston is doing it right or New England's doing it right. Quincy is, just perfect. I love going there. The fact that the beer doesn't cost me $17 a beer. You hear me, the rest of the league? The fans are first. The fan fest is great. It's always a great vibe. And, you're walking into it again, though. Bill of Jack's Rangers is just sobbing uncontrollably about Reese McDonald. So,
Yeah.
no,
Well,
let's. He's got his tattoo on his arm. Did you? He's got a Reese McDonald tattoo, which is
jeez.
great. Anyway, what's the expectation for you from your players? You know, either to win a championship is difficult enough. To win 2 in a row is really tough. 3 in a row is next to impossible, statistically speaking. So, what do you tell your guys? Okay, we got a lot of pressure on us. Everybody's going to want to take a shot at us every single week. How do you prep for that?
Yeah, well, there's 2 realms that we operate in. So obviously public and private. So public is where your fans and your stakeholders demand, success, which is wins on the board. But privately, what I can do and my strength as a coach is making people better, whether that's on the field or off the field. And I think if guys come into an environment that they feel as though they're truly cared for, one of our little mantras is clarity is kindness. So. And we've already had feedback around some of our international players coming in around the care factor that's gone into, getting them homed and feeling really welcome. And we spent a week just culturally working with our group before we did any rugby content, which is kind of the Free Jacks way. So I think it's more the environment that you create, and that's the expectations and the environment, and then the winning would hopefully take care of itself if you've got a really connected group and people knowing exactly what their role is and that clarity that comes with it. So I think it's always been something the Free Jacks have put first and foremost, and we've already had some really cool team functions. We went curling last week and put the boys on the ice to see how good they were, and that was a great function. So
that's cool.
I think we're in a good space with that stuff.
All right. Is there a mandate that the guys have to grow your mustache?
I think there's only one staff member that doesn't have one, so it's caught on.
That's a good stash. That's a very good stash.
Yeah, I've already had some Ted Lasso comparisons, but I do remind people I had this going before he came on. So,
all right, final question before I let you go, and I want you to really think this one through. All right, if the Yankees are England and the Mets are Ireland, which team would you root for?
Ireland.
He's a Mets fan. You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Right answer. Circle gets the square. Ryan Martin, you're now my favorite coach in the league. I'm a tortured Mets fan here. That's what we do. It's what we do. All right, Coach, in all seriousness, welcome back. Good to see you, and thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much.
All right, Ryan Martin. We'll be right back with Bryan Ray of America's Rugby News after this.
I wouldn't like to be at the bottom of that.
You need your cleats? You need them tomorrow? If you order today by 3 p.m. New York time or noon LA time, they can have them to you tomorrow. Young, old, male, female, if you're playing on turf, if you're playing on grass, if you're playing in the rain, you're playing in the heat, they've got you covered. RugbyNow.com. Go there now. And we're back with Mr. Bryan Ray of America's Rugby News. Bryan, Happy New Year. Welcome. How are you?
I'm great, Matt. I'm really excited. It's we're here in 2025. I've never felt so informed and ready to go for the new season.
I think that was a note of sarcasm, Bryan. Why?
I'm not a sarcastic person. I can't believe you just accused me of that.
It wasn't an accusation. It was fact. And I think that your nose is out of joint because of a lack of what?
I'm frustrated, man. I'm not going to lie. This is year 8 of Major League Rugby, and we still can't figure out how to post a simple roster or keep people informed on social media. I thought we were past that. Obviously, we're not. So, I'm going to be cantankerous for a little bit, I think. Yeah.
I'm a little bit surprised that there hasn't been some kind of media blitz, going into year 8, even on regular television with a commercial or something, an ESPN, a commercial, or I know it's expensive, but we got to make a splash. And I'm a little bit concerned that we're not making that splash.
And I'm not asking for a whole lot. I really watch American television, so I wouldn't see the commercials if they aired. But at least put something on social media. Like, let's start flooding out who these players are, what's coming up. Preseason games. I mean, we're finally starting to get a few trickled out. I don't even know if half the teams are playing any at all. But I mean, I'm just not feeling the buzz right now. We're a month out. A month ago, I thought it was like, okay, they're just going to start ramping stuff up around Christmas time or something. But I wish MLR would kind of roll up their socks here in the communications department, because I'm kind of giving them an F right now. Anthem has posted like 12 things on social media since August. I mean, I know they got, they're a different team and all that, and they've got, different priorities, but I'm frustrated. I just think they're letting themselves down, and I wish someone at the league would have the foresight to understand that, it's not just if you build it, they will come. You actually have to tell people about these games and these players and this league, which is actually really entertaining once we get to the on-field stuff. It's the off-field stuff that's really dragging.
All right, what else have you noticed or is on your mind?
Well, I am actually sporting this lovely Fijian rugby shirt, so I am quite excited actually about this game that LA has just announced against the Fijian Drua. This will be an historic event, the first match between an MLR side and a Super Rugby side. But I'm glad that LA is actually doing some stuff like that. They are trying to bring some attention to the league.
And how about that San Diego Legion documentary on their first 5 seasons?
Yeah, really cool. That kind of stuff. We've seen a little bit more of that. We saw that with Chicago before, these little documentary things. I really like that kind of stuff. And the more that you can put that out there and that's fans see, behind the scenes a little bit more, the better it is for the league. Let's just, keep ramping up the marketing behind it and really drive it out there for fans to see. I think that's the big thing, because, it is actually a really cool production. And I like the stuff they're doing there. That's just, again, spread that message, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Any final thoughts, Bryan?
Well, I mean, I have to say, this year we got a World Cup coming up, and it's the women, and Ilona Maher is getting a whole lot of headlines, and terrific to see her getting that awesome try on the weekend. Unfortunately, it was a Canadian that she ran over, but I'm really loving the impact that the North American players are having in the Premiership. Not just Ilona. There's so many great players out there, and it really bodes well for the upcoming years. So something to look forward to. And again, we've got this new women's competition coming to the United States, so I'm interested to see how that turns out as well. So I think this is going to be a big year for women's rugby, and I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to more of our chats in the upcoming season, Bryan. But on that note, we're out of time. I want to thank Mr. Bryan Ray of America's Rugby News, John Fitzpatrick of Rugby Morning, Ryan Martin, the returning head coach of the New England Free Jacks, and thank you for tuning in. Please check out our other shows, including the critically acclaimed The Rugby Odds. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Tell your friends about us. Sign up for our weekly newsletter. It's just once a week. And please join our American Red Cross blood donor team.